Okay. What is the practical application of this book? Um, what does it mean? Uh, I wrote this down because I felt compelled to do so. Apparently, that's one of my quote-unquote abilities that it talks about in the book, abilities. Um, so I was inspired to start doing these videos and share them. Felt compelled to do so for whatever reason. It's what I love doing. So I think what I'm going to end up doing here is I'm going to read from the course and explain it. Explain what it means to me, what I think it means in general, as to be most helpful. So a little background. Not this version, the original version. I was exposed to it in late spring of 1992. I was 9 months sober in AA, and some of the old timers, some of the people I respected the most, were meeting at a friend's house, and I just joined this group study, Course in Miracles study groups, and there's at most a dozen people. There was perhaps as little as 6 or 7 at that time, and I didn't understand a word of it, any of it. However, I knew that what I was reading was what I had been searching for. It just spoke to me. I'd found it. Whatever it is I was looking for, whatever it is I'd been searching for, I felt like this is definitely my calling, or whatever you want to call it. That was in early '92. 9 months sober. Studied it, read it, followed it, went to the meetings weekly, regularly, and it was great. And I eventually started to understand it and talk about it, and we would read, and then we would discuss, and it was fun. The Gary Renard books came out, so it was his what was it? Disappearance of the Universe, right? Uh, and a couple of the guys had read it, and they had talked about all the other books that came out and all the other information that came out about the course and Marianne Williamson and Gary Renard, and I was like, yeah. I just kept reading from the course, but a couple of guys had been reading it for a while, and they're like, read it, and I didn't, but it was 6 years ago. Yeah, 6 years ago, shortly before my 40th birthday, I decided that I had learned what I could from the course. And I was talking to a friend of mine about it and saying, I think I've gotten what I can from it, and I'm not going to do it anymore. And for whatever reason, that was the impetus. That was what drove me to go, okay, I'll read Your Immortal, no, not Your Immortal Reality. I read that too. But I decided to read Disappearance of the Universe. And it's not Gary, as, Arten and Persa say. It was all about what Arten and Persa were saying in this book and describing the course to me in a different way that it just changed everything. It gave me that experience that I had when I first started reading or was exposed to Course in Miracles. Things just became so much different, so clear, so practical. So uh, our group had kind of changed dynamically. The guy who was running it moved out into the country, was held at a different location. We were kind of just drifting along and not finding very much. And so I found myself drifting away from that group in general, but wanted to start studying it again. With the friend I was discussing how I was done, instead I found that I was like, wait, I need to do this more. Uh, Quite an awakening. Um, so we've since been holding that group now for almost uh, 5.5 years, something to that effect. Uh, so what I really want to talk about is how this newer version, which I got exposed to as our group grew and some of the old members started coming back on a regular basis. So this came out in January of this year, and the guy who told me about it is the same guy who told me about Disappearance of the Universe, um, and I didn't have to think twice. He just he was blown away by it, and he's been studying the course for, I don't know, since 77, 76, 78, whatever that is. And what is that? Almost 40 years, 38 years. It doesn't matter, really long time. And we agree. My experience with this version, the Circle of Atonement version, is uh, just as profound as when I read Disappearance of the Universe, as when I was first exposed to the Foundation for Inner Peace, the course that we currently have. Um, and I don't know about the order. I don't know much about the discussion that's going on. I've read some things, and maybe we'll get into that later. But the this is good stuff, and it led me to where I am now. So we're going to start reading, right? I don't know. I'm just feeling guided and compelled, so I'm going to go with that. And I believe that that's what is going on with Gary. That's what originally went on with Helen and Bill and Wapnick and all everybody is doing this. Marianne Williamson too. We all have a lot to contribute and should continue to do so. Let's do this.